one of my idols as a children's show host, Johnny Downs of the Our Gang comedies. And I used to watch him all the time when I used to come home from school. Well, he was one of the guys that auditioned for Words A-Poppin. So I walk in there and I go, Johnny, I'm out of here, man. You're going to get this job, and I'm going to watch you every Saturday on Channel 10. And so he said, no, calm down.
There's the voice of Shotgun Tom Kelly, author of the book, All I Want to Do Is Play the Hits, which you can get on his website at shotguntomkelly.com. That's Kelly, shotguntomkelly.com. And last time, Shotgun shared some stories of Wolfman Jack and American Graffiti. So you were at KC 152, the Boss of the Beach, as it was called. And,
yeah, well, you had that down, yeah.
Then you also hosted a show locally at KERO TV 23, where you were known as Nemo the Clown. Tell us about that one.
Well, it was my first television kid shows. Another thing I wanted to be a boss jock, but I also wanted to be a children's show host. Like, I guess I got the urge when I did that Uncle Tommy show. And of course, I used to watch a lot of the children's show hosts, like Uncle Russ and like Johnny Downs and, Engineer Bill up and Sheriff John. These guys were great children's show hosts. And I thought, gee, wouldn't it be neat to be able to be one of those guys? So anyway, I left Casey because I wanted to use my real name, Tom Irwin, and Dave Conley, God rest his soul. I was driving into work one time at Casey because I hated that name, Bobby McAllister. And so I was driving into work and he goes, hey, Bobby, Shotgun McAllister's coming up next. And I go, that's a great name. Oh, I'm going to include, so I was Bobby Shotgun McAllister. So Dave and I went over to KAFY, the Big 55 in Bakersfield. I left Casey, went there. They had the Drake Jingle package, which fascinated me. And so anyway, I wanted to use my real name, Tom Irwin. The general manager said, nah, we don't want that. Irwin, what nationality are you? I said, well, I'm Irish. How about being Tom Kelly? And I go, okay. So Dave said, yeah, we'll revive the shotgun from Bobby Shotgun McAllister, and we'll call you Shotgun Tom Kelly. That's how I became Shotgun Tom Kelly, okay? So anyway, I was doing that Monday through Friday on Caffey, and these people over at Channel 23, KERO, they wanted to do a kids' Saturday morning show brought to you by the Independent Grocers of Kern County, and they wanted somebody to dress up in a clown suit. And, of course, you know me, I'm going to do anything if I get in front of the camera. So anyway, I agreed to dress up in this clown suit, and they named the clown Nemo the Clown. So every Saturday, I did a Monday through Friday, I was a rock and roll disc jockey on Caffey. On Saturday morning, I was Nemo the Clown on KERO TV. And then, by the way, in the TV station, they have my picture as Nemo the Clown up there in front of one of those big, huge television cameras. And they also have me as Shotgun Tom Kelly when I did another kid show down there in San Diego, but it was syndicated, and it was back on KERO after I had left the station.
Wow.
Yeah, so anyway, that's kind of neat when they got your picture in the hallway there. So anyway, I did that, and it was a marvelous experience. And a friend of mine, you may remember, have you ever interviewed Ken Levine?
I've not, no, but I'd love to if I get the chance.
You really should. You really should, because everybody knows Ken's a television scriptwriter. He's now a playwright. He does plays, but he's written for The Jeffersons, MASH, Frasier, The Simpsons. I mean, the guy is one of the funniest guys in town. And when I got my Hollywood Walk of Fame, he wrote my speech, and he made me funny when I'm not funny. But I did some great material. So anyway, he wanted to be a disc jockey. He was over at Kern, KERN. That was Caffey's competition. And so he got up one morning and he saw me on this is Saturday morning, one Saturday morning. he got up drinking his coffee, and he's watching me as Nemo the Clown, because we were friends back then. And so anyway, one of the kids said, well, Nemo, I can't remember what he asked me, but you know that, don't you, Nemo? And I turned to the kid. This is live. You got to realize this show is live. Mm-hmm. I turned to the kid and I go, why, of course, son, I know that. Nemo ain't stupid, And so to this day, Ken Levine, who's written all these wonderful scripts, one of his funniest lines is Nemo ain't stupid. He always, in fact, when I wrote this book, he said, I hope you have Nemo ain't stupid in there. I said, yeah, I got it in there. Don't worry about it, So anyway.
So how was
it? Where else do you want to go? When I start talking, I can't stop.
That's cool. Hey, I was wondering what was it like working with kids? What was the funnest part, and what were the challenges of working with children?
Well, they say never work with kids or animals. And I worked with both of them. I did a car commercial with a pony, Misty the Wonder Pony, and that turned out okay. It was great, I made some. That was North County Ford, and working with kids. Let's face it, I'm a big kid myself, mm-hmm. and working with kids was wonderful. It really was, and where I got my really big break to do professional child. Not to say that KERO was not professional, but it was Bakersfield. Now I was in San Diego working at KCBQ. I auditioned for this brand new kids show. It was a game show for kids. They wanted to get away from the cartoons. They wanted more of an educational show. So they were auditioning a lot of people for this show called Words A-Poppin. And they were going to syndicate this show across the country. So there's a lot of guys that were auditioning for this, and I was one of them. And one of my idols as a children's show host, I grew up watching him on TV, Johnny Downs. And Johnny was Johnny of the Our Gang comedies, And so he was an actor himself, and I used to watch him all the time when I used to come home from school. Well, he was one of the guys that auditioned for Words A-Poppin.
Wow.
So I walk in there and I go, Johnny, I'm out of here, man. You're going to get this job, and I'm going to watch you every Saturday on Channel 10. And so he said, no, calm down. And he poured me a cup of coffee out of his thermos, and he said, you have just as much right to audition for Words A-Poppin as I do. And so I said, well, thank you, man. But you're still going to get the job. I told him he did. So anyway, he walked in, did his audition, and they had kids there. And so I walked in and I did my audition. And so we didn't hear about it. I went back and, I guess I just assumed that Johnny Downs got the job. As a matter of fact, I was happy that he got the job because I would see him on TV again. And so the TV station director called me up and the producer, and they said, we've decided to select you to be the host. And I tried to talk him out of it. I said, no, you want Johnny Downs. You don't want me. No, we do. He said, the kids related to you better. That's what he said. So anyway, I did Words A-Poppin for 5 years. And we had the kids in there every Saturday because, you couldn't pull kids out of school. Mm-mm. So we did 5 shows every Saturday until we got like 30 shows in the can. And that was syndicated around the country in Denver, Indianapolis, back in Bakersfield. There I was. And so it was great. And I won 2 Emmy Awards for that show, and I'm very, very proud of it. And by the way, my book has something, Josh, that no other book has. My book has QR codes. So when we're talking about Words A-Poppin, mm-hmm. you see the QR code, and you see a whole episode of Words A-Poppin on your phone.
Wow.
Isn't that cool?
That is awesome.
Same way I'm on the air at K-Earth. Okay, we're talking about, the text is talking about K-Earth, and then there's a QR code, and you hit that with your smartphone, and boom, you see me on the air at K-Earth.
That's great. By the way, how many of the episodes of Words A-Poppin exist right now? Because unfortunately, a lot of stations until the early 80s had this practice of erasing episodes, especially of game shows, once the game shows aired.
That's what happened to me. Yeah, I thank God I rescued a couple of them, and the one that's in my book is one of the ones that I rescued. As a matter of fact, one of the kids on that show tracked me down because she saw it on YouTube, and she's a grown adult. She's a mother with children. She says, I wanted to show my kids when I was in 5th grade, and so I gave her a copy of that, and so we became friends. And her husband and her came over to the house, and we got our pictures taken together, and it was just really great. So, yeah, but that's the episode that's on my book in the QR code.
That's great to hear about that. And I'm hoping that, somebody somewhere has episodes that you don't know even exist, because there's Obsolete Video Services, which has uncovered a lot of classic, mainly news and talk programs in Los Angeles, but they also have uncovered a couple of game show episodes, including episode of the New Treasure Hunt with Jeff Edwards that they thought was previously lost. So you never know what could happen with all those tapes and stuff.
Well, Josh, I get people coming up to me all the time saying that, hey, I was on your show, Words A-Poppin. These are grown adults, and one lady did just as you said. I was on Words A-Poppin, and my uncle, remember videotape was just coming, it was, I believe, Betamax was just coming out. And so anyway, I have a beta copy of myself on your show. I'd love to get a copy of that.
Wow. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know where it is. Yeah.
And Betamax tape was a much higher quality than VHS was.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing? I mean, because it came out before VHS, but VHS, I think it was a little cheaper to do, so all the things became VHS. Josh, I am so impressed with you. You really have your act together, my man.
Well, thank you. Well, I love to, learn new things on, about radio. I mean, I've been in myself for 30 years, but mainly behind the scenes. And I've been on the air here and there, but, just getting to talk with pros like you and other legends as well, just is amazing. So I'm really thankful for this opportunity to be talking with you today.
Well, you sure have done your homework, and I've been on a few talk shows. And, the anchor, is just asking me general questions. But, I mean, you're getting down to the nitty-gritty, man.
Now, talking about, now you got your dream in 1971 to be on Boss Radio. And Charlie Van Dyke hired you at 136 KGB when you were only about 21 years old. That's right.
I sent a tape to Charlie, and first of all, I didn't know. I mean, I knew who he was, but I've never spoken to the man. I used to listen to him on KFRC when he did the morning show up there, and then I heard that he was program director of Boss Radio, 136 KGB, and I'd heard that Peter Huntington May had left. So I said, they got an opening. So I sent a tape, and he listened to the tape, and he called me at my Bakersfield apartment, and he goes, Shotgun, this is Charlie Van Dyke. And I'm sitting there on the phone going, ha. Oh, wow.
Like Ralph Cramden.
Yeah. It really is Charlie Van Dyke, man. I can't believe I don't know what to say to him, He said, well, I got your tape, and it sounds too good. He said, when you least expect it, I'm going to come up to Bakersfield, and I'm going to hear you live on Caffey. So you better do good shows for the next 2 weeks. And boy, I did impeccable shows for the next 2 weeks.
And next time we'll talk about the 1972 short film focusing on a day in the life of Shotgun Tom, plus getting to realize his dream and how much creative input did he have in breaking new records at 136 KGB.